Hello, Big Reds. This is Mr. Fischel talking. So we're to the end of the semester, and you need to know, what do I need to know to get an A on the exam? Take notes and listen. That is very important. Don't be listening to music while you're doing this, because I'm going to tell you some things that you need to know. And these notes are due on the day of the exam. All right, let's get started. First of all, take out a sheet of graph paper. I'd like you to graph these points right here. Okay? So the first thing I'd like you to do is we're going to find some distances. I want to find the distance between points A and B, A and C, and B and C. Okay, so I want to find the distance between all those points. Okay? So I'm going to use a different color so you can see this. One thing you could do is with Pythagorean theorem. So from A to B, I could make myself a right triangle. You can see I'm going down 1, 2, 3 spaces here. And I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces here. So I could take 3 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared using the Pythagorean theorem, right? So this is going to give us 9 plus 64 equals c squared, or 73 equals c squared. Now, we want to take the square root of 73. So I'm going to do that. I get about 8.5. So it's going to be the square root of 73, which is approximately 8.5. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing from A to C. Now notice from A to C, I didn't go up or down, I just stayed on this horizontal line. That's pretty easy to figure out. I can just count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this has a length of 7. Okay, it's horizontal, vertical, that's all I have to do. All right, now the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out the length between B and C. All right, so I'm going to look at that line right here, and I can see it is on the slant, so I'm going to have to use Pythagorean theorem. One thing I could do is go straight down and straight over. See, this is a length of 1. This is a length of 3 spaces. So I'm going to take 1 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. This is going to give us 1 plus 9 equals c squared, or 10 equals c squared. Take the square root, and the square root of 10 is about 3.2 to the nearest tenth. So the answer is going to be square root of 10, or approximately 3.2. Okay, so I've done those first 3 distances, found the length between those A and B, A and C, and B and C. Now let's say if I wanted to figure out the coordinates of the midpoint of A to B. Well, midpoint formula is x1, and I'm going to be giving you this on the exam, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay? I have to first of all get the coordinates of A and B. So look at the coordinates of B. I have to go over and down. I'm going over 1, 2, 3, and down 1. So the coordinates of B are going to be 3, negative 1. Coordinates of A, I'm going to left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 2. So it's negative 5, comma 2. So first, to get the midpoint, I have to take of AB, I take negative 5 plus 3 divided by 2. And then I take 2 plus negative 1 divided by 2. When I do that, I do this first. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2 over 2. Then I have 2 plus negative 1, which is 1 over 2. And I can reduce that to negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And then I have comma 1/2. So this is my midpoint of AB, segment AB. All right, now, if you are in an honors class, leave space because we're going to be coming back to this later. Everybody else, let's go to a new page. If you could get a sheet of blank paper, that would be best for this next one. All right, so I'm going to draw two intersecting lines right here. And I'm going to label them E, F, G, and H. Those are the angles, okay? Now, first of all, let's list the vertical angles. Vertical angles. Well, vertical angles are across from each other. So I have angle H and angle F. Those are vertical angles. And angle G and angle E. Those are vertical angles. Okay, what angles are supplementary? Linear pair. So the linear pair, there are quite a few of those, right? They're next to each other along a line. So it would be angle H and angle E. Those are linear pair. Angle H and angle G. Angle G and angle F. And angle E and angle F. See, those are all the pairs of vertical angles. Okay, now let's say, all right, let's have a little add a little algebra here. So let's say the measure of angle H is equal to 3x plus 7. And the measure of angle E is equal to x minus 12. And I want to figure out solve for x. Okay? So, first of all, I have to look at these two angles. You can see H and E are a linear pair. That means they add up to 180. So I'd take both of these, add them up to 180. So I'd take 3x plus 7 plus x minus 12 equals 180. When I do that, I combine like terms on the same side. This is a 1x, right? 3x plus 1x is 4x. 7 minus 12 is minus 5 equals 180. Add 5 to each side, and I'm left with 4x equals 185. Then I have to divide by 4 on each side. And then on my calculator, I take 185 divided by 4, and I get x is approximately equal to nearest tenth, 46.3. Okay, that's how you solve for x. All right, this is the end of part 1. Now we're going to go on to part 2 next.